Okay, and all that recording did not tank, and I had to replay it all the way back up to this place again. Fuck, duck, I hate this game. Okay, let's finally, after so long, read this stupid fucking book. Summer of the year of our Lord 1477. I can no longer die. Of this, I am certain. The strongest blows barely register. I almost feel a pleasure in this sense of pain, reminiscence of my past glory. This morning, one of Ivan's brothers in arms, who was absent from the banquet, came to the castle. He had heard from the scoundrels the narration of the events that had taken place that evening at the banquet. He challenged me outside, but I begged him to enter as the sunlight was blinding, and the warmth burned my hands. He declared that he wanted to do justice in the name of honor and in the name of God. He too called me a demon. I stared at him, miserable vermin in his polished armor. Colon. I felt his heart beating wildly, the tightening of his hand on his sword. He forced me to take a weapon, and I told him it was not in my habit to discipline swine with my bare hands. His first blow seemed incredibly slow and gentle. This man must have weighed 200 pounds, and my hand barely moved back when I stopped his sword. Ugh. He hit me again and again, while an indescribable euphoria grew in me, and I was surprised to whoop with laughter under his attack. As the hunger came, as it had already come, and I threw myself on him like wolves on cattle, and I was crushing him between my hands. His heart was still beating as I became inebriated from his blood. It was better. Yes, much better. Okay, I imagine we'll get some context for that later on. December of the year 1477. But what have I become? An eternal terror seizes me as I write these words. All is dark around me. All is cold. I am alone, infinitely alone. I cry for hours on end. Alcohol, which I have engorged by the barrel, no longer has any effect on me. My spirit, gnawed away by memories that I cannot chase away. This image of her that I have wanted to banish haunts me each instant. It's a curse. She will make of me what I have dreamed of being in my moments of anger. Only the creatures of the night can testify to my terror. I will soon slump into madness and will be the instrument of the demon inside me. The demon who denies my gaze when I search for it in a mirror. The demon who kisses me at the morning's glow and pushes me to nuzzle under the earth in the darkness. I'm feeling in the mood for tacos. I think I just sort of slipped into a Mexican accent there for my Transylvania one. Oh, what the hell? Let's go for Austrian. I am no longer human. I can sense it. Hunger comes when I think of the truly alive, and I cannot resist the intoxication that comes from appeasing this hunger, even as I contemplate its horror. I must write down on these pages my history, so that the madness will not make me who I am, who I was, disappear. It was I who conquered this land. Of all the warriors, I was the most ferocious and most feared. I won impossible and decisive victories, leading to the deaths of hundreds of my comrades. At the mention of my name, my enemies trembled. At the sight of my banner, they fled. This pagan land was conquered in the name of God, but in a way that had nothing to do with the sanctity of beliefs. Entire villages burned, roads burned, with cadavers hanging from the gallows, hundreds of erect stakes, dripping with blood like wine from my breasts. Children, women, elders, so many little lambs sacrificed in the wars of this terror. Everywhere, the fetid odor of decaying carrion mixed with the nauseating stench of burnt human flesh, bloated, bent and broken bodies eaten by worms, and so much blood coagulating. Victories in these lands come from he who shows the most determination in the face of horrors and atrocities, he who is first to instill a supernatural terror in their enemies, regardless of the price. And it was me! Thus came the peace, but certain men aren't made for peace. I had them come and stay at my castle, knights who had fought at my side, as well as their families. In this devastated land, it was the only dignified residence for these brave warriors and their noble dames. Get down! Okay, that's enough Arnold for one day. Alright, here we go. Let's try... Oh, this one. It was then that I saw her, Mina, the daughter of one of my comrades who had died on the battlefield. She was everything. I saw nothing but her. She suffused the castle with an enchanting light and warmth. Each of her steps was a dance. Her voice the whisper of her soul, her beauty transformed the world, transformed people. She was at the same time the ultimate happiness and the most destructive suffering when I had to stand next to her without being able to kiss her and embrace her and make her mine. Thus my court was startled, propelled by a total and severe love. But voices came to her, voices that recounted the war and its battles, that recounted the villages burned with pleasure, the abominable tortures performed under my command, that recounted hundreds of innocents decapitated in a move of anger, that recounted foremost my cruel life in this bloodbath. Despite my efforts to make her share my passion, I was greeted with a coldness marked with disgust. Mostly, I wanted to show her the light of love in the depths of my eyes, semicolon. Mostly, she saw the blackness of death. And then he came, beautiful and blazing, with his handsome shield, the legendary artifact. Make note of that, boys and girls. That'll be important later, I think. My young cousin, Ivan, rejoining us after a battle that turned the heads of the ladies with each step. Generous and likable, he shone in peacetime as I had once made him do in wartime. They were inseparable. He held her arm and she called him my lordship. He praised God and she drank his words. But hadn't I also served God? Hadn't I risked death a million times for his glory? At it is to this puppet that God gave the right to charm my beloved, my only one, to his name? Thus I disavowed God and his holy hypocrisy. In these former pagan lands subsisted rites to which I secretly initiated myself. I disavowed God from all the depths of my soul and swore to combat his defenders with 10 times more vigor than ever his enemies. The thirst for vengeance grew in me. I felt myself becoming a beast. The castle's inhabitants looked at me with a growing fear, my foul temper having much to do with it. I began to whip clumsy servants or those who tarried in carrying out my orders. My brothers in arms turned from me. Next came the marriage announcement that threw me into the abyss. Ivan and Irina announced their engagement held the previous eve in secrecy, and their imminent wedding. Everyone present applauded the news, and I felt the mocking and condescending looks drift over me, the inevitable lot of a spurned lover. At that point, right in front of my eyes, a red veil of anger and blood fell. I managed nonetheless to contain my despair and fury and invite the whole court to a great banquet to be given the next day in honor of the would-be wedded couple. I retired then, and during all of the preparations, I was convulsed with pain and hatred, alone in my chamber to cultivate my fury.
Okay, that's enough Emo Phillips, too. Holy shit, how long is this? Oh boy, okay, oh jeez, what am I gonna do next? When the evening came, in absence of Irina, who had left to put on the dress that I had previously offered, I proposed a toast at the banquet table, having taken care to order the servants to leave the hall and allow only the guests of noble lineage to remain. As the knights and dames, all without exception, raised their goblets to their lips, I began a speech of the hypocrisy of their supposed god and their similar villainy. How did they dare pray while the wine that they drank came from the land soiled by the blood of innocents massacred in the name of God? How dare they laugh at me, the lord of this castle? I, who nourished them, who had won them a life of affluence in troubled times. None answered. The drug that I had obtained from a local hag and poured into their goblets paralyzed them, although they could still see and hear perfectly. Only my cup and that of Ivan had been spared. He sprung up and demanded my repentance. I laughed in the face of this buffoon, and he clamored with his kind of hate that I had experienced after he stole my love. My emotions, contained for so long and so deeply, exploded! I bounded across the room and threw myself onto my rival like a savage beast. My hands clasped his, but the ardor of my force and his conviction began to make me lose my grip. It was thus that I sealed my demonic pact with blood. With all the strength of my denial of God and his children, I threw my jaws onto the assault of my adversary's neck. I plunged my canines deep into his flesh and binged on the vital liquid as the predator feeds on the prey. An unnatural intoxication overtook me as the grasp in my arms released. I couldn't bring myself to tear away from his crimson fountain, which I embedded. When the source dried up, I separated myself from his pale carcass and stood up, my face stained with scarlet trails, and turned euphoric towards my other guests, rigid and feverish. I was then overcome with visions of stakes, gallows, decapitations. Arming myself with a sword and leaning against a chair, I jumped onto the table and began to dance of death, in which each of my twirls was greeted with a fountain of blood coming from their necks, which my sword liberated from their, thus forth, superfluous head. Undoubtedly attracted by the shrieks of laughter, Irina entered the hall and witnessed the scene. I attempted to explain that my infinite love for her was the source of everything, and that this spectacular and unimaginable horror was the proof. She determined not to hear a word of me and fled up the stairs above the dungeon, and I pursued her while proclaiming my love. So you murdered his fiancé by sucking him dry, and then proceeded to dance up and down the dinner table while slashing people's throats and turning them into a giant crimson sprinkler, and then said, "Hey, I did this all for you, babe!" Can't imagine why would she react that way. When I caught up with her on the crenulated roof in the feeble glow of the moon, she screamed to the wind all of her hatred she felt for me. Then I couldn't respond but with words of love. As I stepped forward to finally claim my prize, she threw herself into the void and the mist that masks the cliffs encircling the castle. I sunk to the ground, divided between an incredible force that I felt growing inside me and the sadness of an unfathomable black pit to which I fell, body and soul, and which with jealousy and hatred I dug myself. Okay, I'm not entirely sure whose voice that turned into towards the end, but it started as Shatner, so... Oh god, there's more! Okay,
April 16th, 1887. It is incredible. After centuries of sadness and resignation, hope has finally been restored to me. I feel the palpitations of love take possession of my spirit. The phantom memory of my adored darling, who I searched for in vain through evil pleasures and impossible flirtations, I can now see in my mind and contemplate with delight. All of these readings, expenses, assassinations, and tactics have not been in vain. There is a way to bring Irina back to me. My alias servant scoured Europe in search for the slightest indication of the smallest rumor of the most recent scientific work. I consolidated all this knowledge by accumulating treaties and works, and this work yields today. All these centuries I thought myself to be the first to be abandoned to evil. I thought that the world had never known a soul as black as mine. But the ancient works have now taught me that in the remote Egypt... Egypt? Egypt?
what the fuck? When has Egypt ever had anything to do with Dracula? Okay, hang on. Egypt, centuries before Christ and his cortege of refuse, a cult... Wait, what the fuck? But ancient works have now taught me that in remote Egypt, centuries before Christ and his cortege of refuse, a cult of venerable damned gods, given to the... Egypt? What the fuck? Given to the priestesses by the very mouth of the god's messenger was the secret to unspeakable rights, the power over the void. Supposedly a terrible incantation would have the power to bring back to earth all of the damned souls. In giving herself to death and being deprived of a burial spot, Irvina damned herself and roams in the void. Her place is by my side. I must liberate her, bring her back to me, even if I release 1,000,000 damned souls to earth. The cult's black secrets will be hidden away in the tombs of the great priest who awaits me in non plus death. I must find the location of this tomb. What the fuck? Dracula has never had anything to do with Egypt. I've read the book. I've watched the movies. He's never been to Egypt. There's way too much sun. Holy shit. Sorry I dropped the funny voices there, but whoa, Egypt? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, May 17th, what a random fucking thing. Okay, May 17th, 1877. According to my subordinates, the colonial wars have served to unearth numerous secrets in far-off Egypt. They're really going with this. This region is still under British control, and the treasures are brought to London. Oh, okay, and the treasures are brought to London in order to be studied by scholars. Okay, so some sort of hokey Egyptian shit's going on, and they're bringing it during the Great Mummy, the Mummy Revival. No, that's not what I meant to say. The Great Mummy, the Mummy craze, where they would grind up mummy dust and snort it up their buttocks or things. London people did weird shit back in the 1800s. Look it up. It is perhaps there that I found the information I seek, but I do not know this world. I must move my pawns in order to prepare for my arrival. In the interim, I must classify all of my precious work as there may be some clues in the books that I read 3,000 years. Okay, so this is setting up for... This is why he wanted a house in London, which, to my knowledge, was never really given a definite reason other than he suddenly got the hots for Mina after Harker got there. So, hey, point to you, Frogwares, for giving us a reason why Dracula actually wanted to go to London in the first place. I guess. And we've changed handwriting styles, which means we need to change voices again. July 21st, 1898.
Black luck does not stop smiling on me. As I struggle to inform myself of the customs of faraway England, the librarian who arrived to classify my works turned out to be English. Yes. I asked him 1,000 questions to which he answered in precise and elaborate manner. I understood all the necessary preparations to welcome him in my greatest comfort to the castle, and I imagined his stay here would be long. Yes. The man seemed strangely ill at ease. His pulse beats abnormally quickly, and I have found his eyes fixed on me at each instant. Perhaps people from the West are weaker and more easily influenced than those of our rough clime. At the end of our discussion, a miracle! He spoke of his betrothed who remains in England, and I asked if he had a photograph of her. He showed me the one which he keeps with him. At the first sight of this damperous face, I understood that the presence of this man was a gift from the damned gods. The incredible beauty of this young girl rekindled in me the memory of my past love, and I must at all costs find her. Oh! This isn't a caprice like my other flirtations. No, I know henceforth this Mina is matchless. Only one worthy to receive my passion, the energy, the soul of Irina. I must possess her. I have her in my power, guard her purity, all while breaking her spirit. She will be the receptacle and forever the object of an insane love. And for this Harker, I will compensate him by giving him immortality and making him one of my children. Now nothing further can stop my great undertaking. In 1 week, I depart for London.
That got way more flamboyant the longer I went, didn't it? Oh my god, how much more is there? Okay, only one more little page thing? Fine, we'll do it like this. What? What the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna try reading that again here. September 8th, 1898 is my last evening in the capital of the world. What wonders I have seen since my arrival in London. This new world is so different from my own, but I cannot delay. The second phase of the great undertaking will begin, succeeding in finding the location of the demonic Khan of Wiggly? Of the demonic Khan of Willigi. How the fuck do you pronounce that? I have seen eldritch nonsense that makes more grammatical sense than that word right there. It's in fucking cursive. Oh god, the cursed text that contains the secret right permitting to me to bring back my secret right. I'm fucking dying here. I've been doing this so long. The secret right permitting me to bring my beloved back to life. The tomb is located not far from Cairo? And everything is in place there to receive me and permit me to act promptly. Cairo? My subordinate has worked well. It's rare for a human. At nightfall, I will find Mina in order to pay my homage. I am anxious to taste her warmth and smell her perfume of her hair and caress her breath. I don't think that's quite the word you're going for. I burn with impatience like a lover before his first tryst. Oh god. I am also anxious to bring this beautiful young girl back with me and to speak the forbidden words. Nothing will stop me from bringing Irina back, and if at the same time I liberate a swarm of demented souls, will it not be a wonderful spectacle to see the torrents of blood that will flow around the world when these avenging spirits annihilate the human race? Holy shit, talk about escalating quickly! No.
Damnation, Mina.
But
he must be with her at this moment. I was not able to save Harker, but I cannot lose her. I must get to her as soon as possible.
Okay, hang on. I think I skipped over. Oh, hi.
I
Elf?
hear someone coming this way. It must be the butler. Quick, run.
Okay, hang on. Alright. Dracula's journal, which was found in Godalming. It's fucking Godalming. In Godalming Manor is extraordinarily terrifying. It is written by the very hand of an immortal, of a vampire. The first two entries date from over 500 years ago, while the latter from this year, a few months ago, and some weeks ago, and his latest this very day. The beast was here in his room. I missed him by a few hours, a few minutes perhaps. Note, the vampire mentions the how in the demonic oh my god. Demonomcon of Willowigi. The Demonomicon of Willowigi. What is this? What is this Demonomicon of X-Winley? Fucking, I can't even fucking say it once! Fucking go. Am I just supposed to walk all the way back to fucking London? Okay, here we... Cool. And here we are again. I guess we'll just go go see Mina. Hey, a cutscene! Am I interrupting something?
Back, demon, in the name of the Holy Cross. Leave this child and depart from this house.
In any case, I did not count on lingering. We have already consumed our union.
I don't think you're using that word correctly.
I did not come for a discussion. It will give me great pleasure to see you again.
Hey, what part of cross get out did you not understand?
Your body calls to be covered in roses and love.
That's rape culture.
As for yours, sir, it will soon be a putrid, gory mass where worms will feast.
Okay, I'll call you. Why didn't you just keep hitting him with the cross? He was like a foot long. Just hit him with the cross a couple times. Impale him with it. He knows about that. Post-Union, to Seward M., Director of Carfax Sanatorium. Lots of enemas. My dear friend and disciple, if you are to receive this telegram, know it is because my situation is critical, and the only person in whom I hope I may confide totally is you. Stop. Since the days of my teachings in the Royal College, where I have been honored to be your... I think you got a typo in there. Your preceptor? I think you meant to say professor? I devoted my life to a desperate fight against evil. My foe is so terrible and profoundly mystic that I refrain to speak about it even in the most scholarly of circles, no matter how big the beard. My deepest hope was to protect my... And I'm only going to assume he said sandwich after that. Oh, it scrolls down. Friends and you being among them as... Wait. Protect my friends and you being one of them, as brave and confident in me as you are. That's again strange grammatical use. This hope is now to be forgotten. Unwillingly, I must engage you to the unthinkable crusade. Make you join my silent and lonely road and set you against reality. This is fan fiction. This is straight up fan fiction. Like levels of I don't understand what you are trying to fucking say. Which you would undoubtedly prefer to ignore. Yes, I would actually very much undoubtedly prefer to ignore all of this. Immediately upon receiving this paper, would you bring your medical instruments and join me at the apartment of Mina, the young fiancée of our old friend Jonathan Harper. Why didn't you just say that? who shared with me the knowledge that you will soon share and paid for it with his mortal life. Now, do we really know that? I don't think so. Sincerely, Professor Abraham Ludwig von Helsing. Who the hell? Oh, you're Dr. Seward.
She is stable, but extremely weak. As for her teeth, they haven't started. Yes,
That's
I know.
good.
But it is only a question of days. She is contaminated, and despite all of the transfusions that we may do, she will sooner or later become one of them.
She's icky now.
Look there. You'd think she was an angel. What do you suggest doing? Will you wait until she mutates completely? There exists perhaps a glimmer of hope, Seward. I have to pursue the demon and try to counter his plans.
You've activated my trap
Mad
card.
idea. Do you at least know where he could be?
Not really.
Not so mad, after all. Find me a map of Europe, Seward. Harker must have had one here. And then let's decide where to start my journey.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Van Helsing, you wanna...
There. Perfect.
He just happened to have a map of all of... Okay. Hang on. Are you serious? You can't be serious. Like... No, I don't even see it on the map. Okay, thank God. I was gonna say... Oh no, wait, there it is. Okay, what the fuck? Dracula has never, ever in history been anywhere near Egypt. The only vampire I can think of who's ever been there is fucking Dio, and I don't think this is gonna turn into Van Helsing's bizarre adventure. Although that would be awesome. Wait a minute. He's trying to use an evil book to bring back the souls of his lost love.
There.
Oh,
Perfect.
shit. Tell me they're not.
In London, I discovered a journal that Count Dracula had composed in his own hand.
Please
The
say they're not
demon
going to do
has departed
this.
for Cairo. It seems that there are some ancient texts there that talk of rituals and maledictions. Perhaps there is one that explains vampirism. I know it is highly unlikely. Even if that weren't the case, Dracula seems to want to find this work at any cost. If I make my way there and find it before him, I could exchange it for Mina's salvation. And if none of that comes to fruition, I finally have, after so many years, fresh tracks leading to the Count. I will be able to find him and destroy him.
Will
I
you?
will contact the director of the Egyptian Museum in Cairo by courier today. I believe he is the only person who can help me and guide my research.
Oh,
If you
fuck!
wish
I
to
knew about
contact
this.
me, write to me care of the museum. Keep me informed
Oh,
as to
shit.
the progress of Mina's illness, and keep a better eye on her than I was able to, Seward.
Fuck, I was just looking at the guide to see what the hell was going on next, and I totally forgot. I knew we were going to Cairo, because it says so on the guide I'm looking at. The locations are like London, and the next one is Cairo. God, it's been so long, I completely fucking forgot. I honestly completely fucking forgot we were going to Cairo. Because for some reason, Frogwares has now decided to rip off the plotline to The Mummy. God fucking damn it. I'm getting sick again. Oh god, I can't do this. I can't. We gotta stop here for today, guys. I hope you've all enjoyed, but I can't fucking... I am forgetting stuff that is happening last episodes. I'm gonna have to go back, rewatch all of the last episodes before I continue on doing this so I don't look like a complete idiot again. Until next time, catch you later, everybody.